This looks like the kind of service that will be withdrawn in less than 3 months. The whole concept of full day CDS, like making existing CDS services become full day, making a few tweaks so that they become more useful, like they call more stops in the sense that they become semi-express instead of express. Yes, that could work for like some services, but linking two CDSs to form one big service, I'm sorry, it's just rookie mistake 101. Sorry, what I meant to say was bus planning 101, do not make this kind of rookie mistakes. Sorry, I got so much brain damage yesterday. Just to give you guys an idea of like what I'm talking about, I'm going to draw a withdrawn bus service. Okay, not really withdrawn, but they truncated it so that it loops at Suntec now. So from this map, I am going to draw the old 502. So as you know, the current 502 goes Soon Lee Bus Park, Pioneer Road North, Jurong West Avenue 5, then Jurong West Street 75, 64. But in the past, 502 actually did not go via this route. That new route uses Jurong West Central 1 even before there were bus stops along Jurong West Central 1. So in the past it used Jurong West Central 3 instead, and then goes Boon Lay Way, and then this thing pretty much clones the entire 657. And then, okay, I do know that between 2003 and 2010, they actually did this thing whereby it goes up PIE, Whitley, Stevens, Henderson, Orange Grove, Orchard Road, and then loop at Suntec. But that was like 2003 to 2010. But before 2003, it did not use this route. It went, if I'm not mistaken, it went like Commonwealth Avenue West, and if I'm not mistaken, it actually called outside Clementi MRT. And then Clementi Avenue 2, Clementi Road, Ulu Pandan, like this. Then from here on out, it actually goes to CTE, like this. And if I'm not mistaken, 502 actually exited at, I think it was Ang Mo Kio Avenue 1. Because 508, 511, 512, it exited at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3. But 502, if I'm not mistaken, it exited at 1, then Lorong Chuan, Yio Chu Kang Link, and then from Yio Chu Kang Link, okay, I'm not too sure of the route, but I'm pretty sure it was like Hougang Avenue 3, no, Hougang Avenue 2, then 8, 10, Punggol Road, Sengkang East Avenue, Rivervale Drive, Compassville Street, Compassville Road, and then Sengkang Interchange. I think it's something like this. So the blue sector is what got deleted off, and then the red sector is the one that still remains as of today. So the fact that if you compare like this red and blue sector compared with like whatever they proposed, you would see that like even the red and blue route, which is like way more direct, it got rationalized. So like I just want to ask them, like, what makes you think such a service would even survive in the first place? This one will get withdrawn really quickly, I'm just gonna tell you. Yeah, hard days ahead, I hate my life. The reason why CDS is even unidirectional in the first place is like AM peak one direction, PM peak one direction, is because let's say AM peak, people want to go to the city, and obviously on the other hand, nobody wants to go from the city to residential area because like it's in the morning, there is like no one who is like at the city. And then for PM peak, okay, okay, you might argue that like, okay, maybe some people they want to hit to like the city area like Suntec for shopping. You might argue, but there is just not many people in the first place, and therefore you should prioritize people. I mean, this is like all quite basic. You should prioritize people from the city to residential area. If you were to run this side of the route, yeah, you can, but you're not going to like be able to. Let's say it's a full day service. You're not. I'm very sure like you're not gonna. It's like if you deploy like 20 buses here, you might only deploy 10 in this direction, which means like from the depot, you have to send like way more split shift buses like towards the city, just in order to go back to the residential area, and then for residential area towards city, you don't like send as much. Like you just pump a lot more buses here, and then you don't really pump along this side. Okay, it's not exactly the same, but this is kind of like 960E style, whereby the last bus that is heading towards the city on weekends is actually 6 p.m. So at around 6 p.m., this is kind of what 960E is about. Like from Woodlands to city, they don't run as many buses, but from city to residential area like Woodlands, they actually pump way more buses. So if 960E does this and you want to run like a full day CDS, I don't know like what operation hours that you're like proposing or what, then you have to like run it like this. Like as much as I understand what they're trying to do, it's like residential area, and then it's like this part is like the big city. They want to ensure that like okay, from this side there is like actually demand, even though there is like little demand from this side, and then at any given point in time there is like demand coming from here, and then there's like very little demand, and they wanted to like use this part to offset this empty part, and then use this part to empty this part. But here's the thing, like no matter what, like public bus operators, it's not just like the government or anything, like public bus operators, they would already see this as like dead mileage. Okay, even though it isn't necessarily dead, it's just like going in the other direction, it's just carrying air, and this is just not good for any like bus service in general. And the thing is, when you have like a CDS, you have to remember that like this part is technically dead, this part is technically dead, this part is dead, this part is dead as well, and I mean this is like the city part. If you let like a normal trunk service have this kind of like pattern, like this side has demand, no, this side has demand, no. Like let's say in the case of 166, I'm just giving an example. 166 from Ang Mo Kio to Clementi, the reason why this one is still able to somewhat survive is because this thing technically doesn't go into the CBD. This one goes to like Little India, Chinatown, basically the heritage districts if people want to do shopping. It goes to like Novena KK Hospital, which has a lot more shopping. And then it goes to like Harbourfront, which is like workplace shopping, or if you want to go to Sentosa, it's like, yeah. 166, it just passes way more like places that people would want to go outside of like working hours. It's like outside of like, white collar jobs, it's like they are confined to their offices. It's like 9 to 5, and then they don't usually, unless it's like lunch or anything, they don't usually like go out. And what is going to sustain like your bus services during this period of time are like normal passengers who are like going for shopping, hospital, visiting the heritage districts, or just sightseeing. This is the kind of demand that's like actually going to sustain your services. Because when you merge a CDS together with another CDS, it's not gonna be 166. This one just defeats the purpose of it. Because 166, at least it has like those other areas that are able to like carry the route when commuters are not like working, be it on like weekdays or weekends. Weekends, obviously, 166 would have more people heading towards like Little India or Chinatown, or even like Harbourfront area as well. Yeah, and the thing about the CDS is that like you're obviously not able to run this on weekend unless there is like an in between, unless in between you actually tweak it to make sure it goes by like one of those shopping districts. You're never gonna make this work in a weekend. And not just that, 166, the intermediate sectors of the route, like as I've mentioned, the whole part from like Novena to Harbourfront, that side alone is able to sustain because at least people still take 166, like not just from the residential to like the city area, but even within like the shopping districts or heritage districts in itself. That's the reason why 166 can survive. The problem becomes like even more apparent when you have CDS, which you merge to CDS, and then all of them accumulate this kind of dead mileage, and your only true like the only true demand you're gonna get is along here, 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 or like in the other direction. It's like you're not going to like, how to say, it's like dead mileage refers to a sector whereby the bus doesn't pick up passengers at all. It doesn't just reply to like it doesn't just refer to like, I meant refer, not reply, I'm sorry. It doesn't just refer to like off service. Off service in itself is dead mileage, but as long as the bus isn't picking up passengers, it's already considered dead mileage. That's why bus services with like a much closer like stop gap, they have lesser dead mileage as compared to like say 502 or 518. And 502 or 518, they charge express fares to offset this kind of like dead mileage, the sectors whereby they don't pick up passengers. This one you would have to charge express fares. And the thing is like geographically, if you're like going from one end to another, you would prefer a bus route, even if it's express that goes along something like this. Nobody is gonna take like a residential route. Sorry, as in nobody from the residential who wants to reach this place is going to take the CDS to the CBD, like waste time, and then from here just go back out like this. Real life doesn't work like Hess law, okay? Hess law only applies when this route completely gets screwed over by a traffic jam and you have no choice but to use this route. Okay, in real life, everything doesn't just work like Hess law. The whole reason is because geographically, be it bus or train, commuting like that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you miss the last train and then this kind of last bus is your only doorstep connection left. Then yeah, it makes sense why you would do this instead of this. Let's say this bus already has ceased to operate and then there's only this bus left. Like let's say you're boarding along like the intermediate route and not necessarily from terminal to terminal, and then you have no choice but to like sit through this sector. Yeah, that is understandable because it's like the last bus. You don't have any other options left, assuming that everything else has already ended service. And unfortunately, this is the kind of like route profile that kills services, to put it that way. This is like already a lot worse than what the old 989 from Choa Chu Kang to Bukit Gombak, Batok, and Changi Airport was. At least that one only has like one big sector of dead mileage, and then it even has like in between stops at Jalan Toa Payoh and Jalan Koyam Air, and then express. At least there is like potential demand at like Toa Payoh. This one, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. There is just no demand like within CBD, okay? Like outside of like office hours. Unless you're saying nightlife, but nightlife people go to Bayfront instead. Which, yes, they did take into account of Suntec. Okay, I'm gonna use another color. They did take into account of Suntec, and they did take into account of like Bayfront as well. But here's the thing, you're assuming that like at any given point in time, there will be demand to like Suntec and Bayfront from this area and this area. Now let me tell you one thing. When it comes to shopping, the reason why like all the city shoppers are pushed towards Orchard, like over here, is because you need like demand from Orchard, Suntec, and Bayfront, or Orchard and Suntec. You cannot afford to skip Orchard. If you push a full day bus service to just Suntec and Bayfront alone, it's just not going to work. And if you wanted to make it work, you would have to like make the bus route less express. I'm not saying like a local stop trunk service, but you have to make the bus less express. You gotta, I mean, let's say CTE actually has bus stops. Okay, again, it's unrealistic, but I'm just saying you have to make more bus stops along the express sector. I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying the CTE side. Okay, maybe you should apply it to like AYE side. Do it in the style of like the style of 97, 197, 963, stuff like that. They call all stops. And that because they call all stops, that's where the demand even comes from in the first place. And the thing is, like, if you want to push it to Suntec or Bayfront, you're only able to like push it in one direction and not like both. Okay, like even if I made 97 go from like Jurong East to Bayfront and then I extended to Hougang, number one, the bus captains won't like it because they have to drive for like really long distances. 51's an exception, okay, but that one was just because of history. I mean, I'm sorry, like this kind of like 97 style route, it could have worked in the past, but like right now, I'm sorry. Here's the thing, even if NEL Northeast Line didn't exist, 502 and 97 would still have been susceptible to rationalization because of the existence of other bus services like this one. I'm sorry, like 147 is enough justification to not run 502 from Sengkang and not run 97 from Hougang. It's simple as that, and it's not just like 147. For this one, you have 107 as well. 107 effectively already brings you from like, it's quite fast. The route is like direct enough. It's not even like express, but the route is quite direct. It's from Hougang to like, at least it takes you to like Beach Road, and then from there on you can transfer to like 56 or something to reach Marina Center, and then I mean whatever, you at least 107 already brings you there. And okay, 97, it's probably bound to be withdrawn after like CCL 6. You could make 674 full day and make it like semi-express instead of express, charge trunk fares or whatever, but I mean that's just like conceptually speaking. This kind of route, I'm sorry, 502 already does the job. And this kind of route, I'm sorry, like 133 is already kind of direct. It's like Ang Mo Kio Avenue 8361, and then it goes through Serangoon Avenue 2. It doesn't even do like that wide throw to next. I mean that windy throw to next in this like 853. This one goes Serangoon Avenue 2. And after Serangoon Avenue 2, it actually goes to Boon King, Bugis, and then it just goes to Bayfront at Shenton Way. Like the existence of 133 alone already justifies that 668 full day. It just wouldn't work. The reason why a full day 671 or like a 654, okay, more so in the case of 654 would work is because you don't really have other bus services into like Suntec and Bayfront like 80. But Ang Mo Kio side, let's not just limit ourselves to wherever 133 applies, but Yio Chu Kang and Ang Mo Kio, just take a feeder bus and then change to 133. There is already 133 that takes you into the city without much DIT mileage anyway. It's way more sustainable. 80, I'm sorry, it doesn't go to Suntec and Bayfront. It goes Bugis, Clarke Quay, Tanjong Pagar Road. Yeah, I mean like, and 80 has its own demand to like sustain as well. And because of 80 not going to Suntec and Bayfront, it's more justification for 654 to be full day or 671 to be full day. And when I mean full day, I mean cut off here. Don't merge it with another CDS. And even though I've already said this many times, 502 and 518, I've already mentioned from the beginning of time that both of them literally need to touch Orchard at all costs. They need to touch either the Tanks or Lucky Plaza bus stop, and then they need to touch Maritas Mandarin as well. That's where all the demand is like coming from. Okay, Maritas Mandarin is only exclusive for 518 because of the way the bus stops are staggered inside, and 502 obviously this one calls this one calls like opposite 313 Somerset instead, that bus stop. Without these bus stops, this one wouldn't be able to survive, and this one wouldn't be able to survive. 502 kind of functions like a full day CDS already, so you don't even need whatever you're like proposing here. 502 already functions as a unidirectional, as a CDS with like a sort of like unidirectional loop. And then on weekends as well, it gets in a way turned into a city shopper with the exact same route. 502 is one of the rare cases whereby it works because it is both like a city shopper and a CDS at the same time. And for it to work, it has to touch Lucky Plaza and Maritas Mandarin in the first place. 518, it gets way more demand during weekends because, I mean, it's weekends. People go to shop on weekends mostly. Unless you're the kind of person that like doesn't really work on weekdays and work on weekends instead, and then weekdays you are free to shop inside Orchard. Yeah, but statistically speaking, there are more people who are free during weekends, and even during weekdays, there is Temasek Poly that is like making 518 survive. I've already talked about that in another video. So don't ever think about 502 being like amended away from Orchard. Like let's say what, Havelock, Outram, Chinatown, or what, Telok Ayer. Don't even think about that. 502's main purpose is to touch Orchard. If it doesn't touch Orchard, it completely loses its purpose. Completely. And at that point, you might as well just withdraw it and just consolidate all of your resources into a 674 trunk or a 674 semi-express. I'm not even joking. I don't get it why some people are they still want to amend 502 and 518 away from Orchard and get rid of the unidirectional loop when said unidirectional loop is what sustains both of these services in the first place. I don't get it. Even after like constantly reminding people like many times. You can say it's by coincidence, you can say it's lucky or what, but 502's route was just designed with this purpose in mind. That's why it's able to survive. You guys, when you don't make your like full day CDS call different sectors like either Orchard, Bugis, Clarke Quay, or Chinatown, if you don't make your bus services at least call these areas, you're not gonna be able to sustain them. Orchard is where all your demand is coming from. Going back to here, okay, yes, there is an attempt to like make it go via Bukit Timah and Bugis. Again, this thing would only work if your CDS is like from the residential area to the city only. This is not gonna work if like you make this route, you inflate this route to make it longer. Because right here, you are like you're assuming that people would actually take the bus from, let's say, Boon Lay, Jurong West, and then Jurong East area to reach Bugis and Little India. Well, newsflash. I'm sorry to say, there is 174. And there is 174E as well during peak hours. Weekday peak hours. 174's route is already direct enough in the sense that, like, this thing literally goes to at least Farrer Road. This one goes Orchard, but as long as 174 already touches Dunyan Road, you can just change 67 to reach Little India area. And if you're heading to Bugis, you might as well just take 197 in the first place, you know? Like, what the hell? Oh my god. Cause I'm sorry to say, like, nobody is gonna like utilize a route that's like this, okay? In the first place, they already have like 197, which is like way more direct to Bugis. And then if they're coming from like Boon Lay, they already have like 174, which route wise it's a lot better. And then it goes to like a Little India. Existing routes already like give them this kind of like full day connections. I think people are only like complaining because it's not fast enough. I want rapid bus. Rapid bus. I'm sorry. It's just harder to sustain like rapid or express bus services. Okay, and the dead mileage issue, you're gonna make it a lot worse if. Oh my god, you're gonna make it a lot worse if you merge two CDSs. If PTOs they see this kind of idea, I wouldn't even be surprised if they make it charge like premium bus fares or like the NR1 to NR22 fares, which is like a $5.50 or something. I wouldn't even be surprised if this these bus services, CDS plus CDS merging together, having to charge like 550 per passenger, a flat fare in order to even sustain it in the first place. Doesn't matter if you're taking short or long distance, it's just 550 flat. You're not gonna sustain this bus service otherwise. You know? Because it's like you're assuming people they take this bus long distance and not short distance. If people say, hey, I want this bus to be short distance, I take this bus along short distance. You already converted my short distance option into this long distance option. To be fair to us, why not, if you commute within the neighborhoods alone, please reduce our fare to at least like $2 or $2.50. That's kind of what like, you know, I think SBS Transit, I don't know what about SMRT side, but SBS Transit's 1N to 8N, they did something that like, if you're traveling within like the residential sector only, they charge like lower fares. You're gonna make this one a full day night rider. I don't know how to say it, but it's like this is just unsustainable on like so many levels. Reason why people don't even take into consideration how much dead mileage this kind of service even gets. You want a service that succeeds, you have to look at all of these like examples and you know think of like why it even succeeds in the first place. Because they have local demand. You're assuming that there is gonna be like long distance demand that at any given point in time from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then from 6 p.m. all the way to 12 midnight, there are people who are at Suntec, Bayfront, Bugis, Little India that wants to go long distance like this. I mean, the thing is like, if they had just proposed the idea of like a full day CDS alone, it might work. It just might work. Like, them proposing this kind of CDS merging CDS, come on, like, I don't know why this is even a thing. Like, even 166 with its fetch air sectors from like Upper Thomson Road to Ang Mo Kio, that site has like lesser demand comparatively. Even 166 is more sustainable than this kind of service, I have to say. You do this, your last bus from this site has to depart at 10 p.m. and this one has to depart at like 10 p.m. or even like 9:50 p.m. for it to like go all the way here and all the way here. Cause I'm sorry, the shops at like Bayfront or Suntec, unless they're 24/7, they definitely don't operate that long, okay? And I wouldn't even be surprised if they start cutting it to 8, then to 7, then to 7, and then they end up withdrawing the service altogether due to low demand. So the thing is, your last bus isn't even like, it doesn't even like fit the whole purpose of, what if there are people taking the last bus like for long distance. This one's last bus, I'm sorry, it has to depart really early, otherwise it's just not good for the bus captains. They have to like, oh my god, If you depart at like 12 midnight, you're gonna the bus will end up reaching like the other terminal at 2 a.m. My goodness. And I don't think like now there is even like bus services whereby their last bus actually, okay, maybe 51, but that was an exception. Okay, like, okay, let me show you how they did like the feeder integration. Okay, I'm not against this at all, but the issue is that, I'm sorry, 261, it's enclosed within Ang Mo Kio. It's just like that. You having to make a like, let's say 22 gets affected by external traffic at next, you know, like the taxis that next area, Serangoon Central, that place is so prone to congestion. You are making the Ang Mo Kio Avenue 10 residents get affected by external traffic. That's not what you want to do. Even though this idea isn't like the worst or anything, but what's wrong with 261 in general? You're making another service do what 261 is supposed to do. And the thing doesn't even touch Ang Mo Kio in the first... Okay, here's the thing. I don't even mind like the way they did like the green and the cyan, the light blue along this. I don't even mind the way they did it, but there is one very, 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 very big glaring issue. Did you just literally remove the bus from Ang Mo Kio to like this area, like 265 currently? The people from here and here, nobody wants to go Yio Chu Kang. They want to go Ang Mo Kio. Oh my god. And let me tell you, these people, they are going to crayon something like 73 to do this kind of... I'm telling you, 73 has to take the fastest route from Ang Mo Kio to Serangoon North Avenue 3 and 4 area. That's the reason why 73 even gets demand, because that area is underserved. People want to take 73 inside. Nobody wants to make 73 merry-go-round, merry-go-round, merry-go-round before it reaches Serangoon North. And obviously, if you do this to 25, please just quit bus planning in general. Now I'm going to tell you why this doesn't actually work, like 222 style. Oh, sorry. Service 222 style. Let's say you make 269 do the service 222 style. This one refers to like, the reason why 222 is able to work is because this thing, okay, let me just like roughly draw it out. Bedok Mall, Bedok Interchange is here. The MRT station is here. And the bus stop, oh my god. And the bus stops are just right outside. From Bedok Interchange, if you want to access like 222 via the underground linkway, if you want to access 222 to go this side and not throw all the way around just to go this side, the close proximity between the ITH, basically what's above the mall, the sort of like underground mall, and then above the ITH is like some private housing, I think, like some condo basically. The close proximity between the ITH, the MRT station, and the bus stops on both sides of the MRT station, connected by an underground linkway. And if you're coming from Bedok Mall basement, it's actually quite convenient for you to go to the other side and then take 222 to reach this side. The main point is the close proximity between everything that's here. The reason why a 222 style service wouldn't work over here is because, yes, you could argue that 269, let's say you make 269 do what 222 is supposed to do. You serve North-South line and you serve the future Cross Island line as well. I don't know where the station box is, but it's somewhere around here. And you serve the western end of Ang Mo Kio Mall. You might say, okay, fair enough. But here's the thing. If you're coming from Ang Mo Kio interchange in itself, there is a huge access penalty to this side of the road and a huge access penalty to this side of the road as well. This is unlike Bedok, whereby the interchange, MRT, and bus stops are all along the same like y-axis, along the same like column. This one is not along the same like column. It's access penalty, and that's kind of the reason why, even though I'll be honest, even though it's quite tempting to just crayon like a bus service that does what 265 is supposed to do, and then go on to, you know, like let's say loop however 269 is supposed to loop. You make 269 absorb like 265E. The reason is because of the access penalty why this one doesn't work. And I'm sorry to say, but people along this sector would complain because you just cut off their access to Ang Mo Kio interchange. And you might be thinking, okay, then let's just do this instead. Well, you're still sandbagging one bus stop outside. Actually, is there even a bus stop outside? Well, you could argue there's like 88 over here, but like, here's the thing. It's impossible for the feeder service to serve this side and then serve this side in the first place. That's a kind of reason why it's better to use a feeder service to do this. One more thing. I've literally made a video saying the touch and go concept of service 265. Like, if you're coming from like 88 and then you want to go inside, let's say you're elderly, you want to go inside street 54 if I'm not wrong, because this is 52 and 53. It's like, if you use a trunk to do this kind of nonsense, you have to make people cross the road just to go inside. I mean, this, oh my god, this touch and go concept, this touch and go from 88 to bring you inside the loop, if there is even a bus stop outside in the first place. Guys, okay, I'm not hallucinating. There is really a freaking bus stop outside of here! It's like, yeah, oh my god, like, dude, like, why are you trying so hard to like get rid of this little, oh my god, like, people from like 88 or even like 45, if they want to take a bus service inside for easier access, like they want to get from this bus stop to this bus stop or this bus stop because, you know, they have mobility issues. That's what 265 is supposed to do. Oh my god, you don't just integrate feeder services like this. And to make matters worse, I'm not even hallucinating. Like, look at this. And yes, I'm sorry, I hallucinated just now. There are no bus stops in front of here, so you cannot even take 88 to like this bus stop and then transfer to like go in. Yeah, you can argue that like, oh, what about the bus stops on top? Why not you take 88 or like from 45, you take the bus stop here so that you take the bus to the bus stop here so that you can intercept our new feeder service to like do this instead. Yeah, you can argue that, but like, I'm sorry, this connection has existed ever since the beginning of time when 265 East was extended to loop at this area and not just loop at Street 53 and Avenue 5. When it got extended to here, people like ever since ages have been taking a bus from outside this bus stop to inside, and not just that. People from this bus stop, it's not just to go inside this loop. Because currently, no bus service actually goes from here to here, okay? And oh my god, like, if you integrate the bus, oh my god. Another look at this. As I was saying, there is no bus from here that goes here. So what do they do? They make use of this bus stop in order to take advantage of the way that 265 loops. So like from here, if you want to go inside here, you're able to take 45 or 88 to this bus stop, and from this bus stop, intercept, using the touch and go concept, intercept 265 inside. if you just haphazardly convert 265 to like this, you're breaking the connection at this bus stop. I don't know why. Whatever video I put out, you guys just completely ignore my advice and you just do everything that you wanna do because you just want to integrate every trunk service, every feeder service to a trunk service because you want cyclic demand and rapid and Can you guys explain to me why you decide to do this kind of thing and delete bus stops just because you feel like deleting it? Why? バスに乗ってここで降りる。ここで乗り換えてここまで行きます。Do I have to explain in another language so that you guys have to understand? こういう長距離のバス路線は本当に無駄ですよ。バスの料金も高くなっちゃうよ。もっと高く上がらなければ、バス路線が赤字になって、廃止する可能性がもっともっと高くなるよ。短いバス路線では、近所をつなげる。近所がつながっているためですよね。近所を出ることじゃない。近所の範囲。近所内でしか走らない。日本での BRT はすべて、ごめんなさいね、偽の BRT。シンガポールは同じように、本当の BRT が全然叶えないよ。シンガポールの高速道路で、特に通勤時間帯に、渋滞がとってもひどい KPE とか中央高速道路 CTE とか PIE とか AYE もそう。渋滞がとってもひどい。渋滞がたくさんあって、バスが渋滞に囲まれちゃったよ。渋滞が多くなって、バスと前のバスと前のバスと前のバスと前のバスと前のバスの前のバス。後ろのバスもそう。すべてが詰まっているよ。もし廃止じゃなかったら、こういう路線は免許維持路線になっちゃう可能性があるよ。高いよね。免許維持路線が、免許維持路線は超赤字になっちゃうよ。ごめんなさい。私の数学がとっても苦手ですよ。じゃあ。こっちだよ。はい、皆様。暗目標。53街、52街、54街、10丁目。すべては、暗目標、バスインターチェンジ、バスターミナルにつながるものですよね。幼稚館とつながるものじゃない。暗目標が大変必要。こっちがハブ&スポークモデルのものですよね。もし、かなり長距離の路線に変わって、近所の外からの渋滞、タクシー乗り場のせいの渋滞、こちらでの影響は、暗目標アベニュー10の住民 に与えるよ。近所の住民が欲しいのは、短い循環バス。こっちじゃないですよね。もし直通つながるのが必要。もし直通路線、直接につながる必要があったら、そのフィーダーバス、その短距離、その短い循環路線を廃止せず、Repeat after me. 廃止せず、新しい路線を、新しい路線を作る。もしくは、こっち、なんでだよ。こっちも大丈夫。こっちも大丈夫。こっちがダメ。こっちもダメ。廃止せず、路線が変えるよ。廃止せず、路線を変えるよ。最後に、こっちの人口は、こっちの人口より、その数字がもっと低い。こっちが高い。だから、住民の行きたい場所はこっちですよね。こっちじゃない。ここで、バスターミナル、ショッピングモール、将来のクロスアイランドライン、名前が長いんですよね。ここまで行きたい。あとは、今のバス路線260号は、54階、52階、53階、暗黙橋に入るんだけじゃなくて、この路線も、メイフラワー駅につながっている。トムソン東海岸線に乗り換えたい人たちは、このバス路線を使いますよ。4時間に行きたくないよ。なので、その直通路線がとっても必要ですよ。こっちが必要。こっちも必要。路線を変えないよ。変えるな。シンガポールの CDS というバス路線は、シティダイレクトサービスでも本当にサービスじゃない。サービスの意味じゃない。路線の意味ですよ。そのバス路線は、通勤時間帯限定の路線。通勤特急バス、いわゆる通勤特急バスですよ。都市から近所までのバス路線。近所まで都市のバス路線。こっちが早朝、近所から都市まで。夕方では都市から近所まで。近所から都市から、ごめんなさい。近所から都市を通じて他の近所までの路線じゃないよ。簡単に言うと、バス事業者と、政府 LTA はお金持ちじゃないよ。 もしこういう路線が存在があったら、必ず赤字になっちゃうよ。通勤時間帯以外、走ったら意味ないよ。お金も潰すよ。ごめん、お金がなくなるよ。もし俺が言ったものがわからなかったら、日本語を勉強しろよ。